Alrighty. Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's Tuesday. We're marching along. The Fed is coming out with their minutes this afternoon. There is all kinds of just twists and turns, and we're hearing people say things about the idea that we're let me kill that sound there. And we're hearing, the Fed is just feeding between the U.S. Treasury and the U.S. Fed. They are just powering this economy. It's not growing naturally; it's growing artificially, and it's definitely having some real issues now. Then you have the election coming on, and the lawfare at the same time. I mean, it's just like there's a lot of there are things that are going on that we've never seen in America like this. It's just very unique and very wrong and un-American and illegal, and it just and we have a Justice Department that won't prosecute. We have an FBI that doesn't want to investigate. In other words, they've infiltrated all of these networks now. So it's there's just a lot. That's why Mr. Trump keeps on going up in the polls. It's because people see that this is not the way it's supposed to be. That's the problem. Anyhow, what do we see on the charts there? You can see the dollar index. It went into the buy yesterday. You can see that right there. Oop, where's that mouse at? You see it right there. And let's see if it shows it that way. Do we see it here? I guess I can go like this with it. There you go. Now you see it right there. That little blip pushed up, and a green dot. Now today we're trying to drop back down again. We're basically unchanged or a little minus, and we got the red dot developed, and we're in that weekly sell. This is a second week in a weekly sell, starting a third week. That's what we're going into the third week now. We've been a lot of people have been measuring the dollar's actions, trying to understand where the interest rates are going. What is the rhythm of it, or the nature of it, or the way it's going to play out in the end. It does not. It's a very I don't know how to describe it at this point, but it's definitely has a lot of money confused. They're not, the hot money is chasing things like Nevada. The options are reflecting an $80 move in NVDA, the stock, and that news comes out tomorrow. That's the earnings, and the options are reflecting an $80 move. Usually they're pretty accurate. I can't remember last time. I think it was off about $4 or $5. I think they were predicting a $60 move, and they got it. So, it just lots of noise, lots of conflicting points of view. How else do I describe it? I guess that's the best way to describe it. Really, it's a lot of conflicting points of view. And then the Fed is going to release its minutes. I didn't even talk about the Fed in the sense that I think it was the Ohio, or I guess the Cleveland Fed. A couple of the Fed presidents have come out from the Fed bank system, and they're like, no, there's no reason for a cut of interest rates at this point. And so, in other words, remember, we started off in November of last year now. Here we are heading into June. We're in May. We got 10 days left in May. And, back in November, they were that's all they talked about. We're going to see 7 cuts. We're going to see 7 cuts starting, next month, and that was, November of last year. And here we are getting ready to go into June, and there hasn't been any cuts. And inflation keeps on lifting up, and they're concerned about inflation, thank goodness. And, well, they're concerned about it in the sense that they want to fight it, but at the same time, they're spending tons of money, which is enhancing the inflation. So a lot of people are saying it's a very schizophrenic policy. Um, or is it Grenlock from one of the big hedge funds said today it's like the Biden administration has 1 foot in the canoe, in the boat in the water, and 1 foot on the dock. And he says, when you do that, sooner or later you're going to get wet. In other words, you're going to fall in. And that is really the whole process of what we're looking at right now. They can't really come out of that. They can't make any sense out of, or they don't make any sense out of what they say. That's the problem. They don't make any sense, and it's not stopping. It just keeps on going on with the whole process. So, all right. From there, let's see. We got something tangled up here. We untangle one of these wires. I'm not wireless all the time. Let's see. If I unplug this, where does it go? I don't want to unplug my microphone. Okay, that's better. So, this is where we stand at this time. We're in that neutral area where the potential for lowering rates is more in Europe than it is here in the States. And that's probably half the reason why the dollar lifted up. They've realized that we're not going to be lowering the rates here. It's Europe that's going to be lowering the rates. And if they lower the rates, then people buy dollars. So it is odd. All right, let's go over and check out the euro this morning. Let's see what they're doing there. Right there. And there's the euro. Went into the sell yesterday. Let's grab one of these reds and just move it over to there. Went into the sell yesterday, and you can see we're still underneath a little bit, just a little minus there. And at the same time, closed in the weekly buy. We were through the weekly buy in the beginning of last week. They were really hungry to get long in this thing, but look how long it took. The slow took up until last week, the beginning of last week to get into the buy. No doubt it wasn't exactly an explosive move. You can see here, this was kind of like a slow, steady grind up. And we would go into daily buys. We went into a daily buy right at the bottom of it, and then it, ran up into here, got a little tangled, and then back into a buy again. Just one day a sell and then back into a buy again. It made it it was a very hard trade. It was telling us that they're taking it up, but they don't really have a long-term conviction. Now the fast, as you can see right here, the fast right there, it went into the buy. I was at 4 weeks ago. And it's held on very well, and you got that nice second leg from it too, right there. But it's really looking more in many ways is that Europe will be cutting rates before we cut rates. All right. Now from there, we'll go over to the British pound and see what that's doing this morning. That didn't go into a sell yesterday. See, it's still climbing up. And the fast did the same thing 4 weeks ago. It climbed into the buy, and then it really started to lift. Then last week it did the same thing. It jumped into the buy on a Tuesday or Wednesday. It was really starting to take off, and it's had a nice move out of it. And again, if they drop rates and America's rates are high, usually that means that the dollar will be stronger than the British pound or the euro or that type of, any of the opposite side of the pairs there. But at this point, we're really trapped in this. I guess it's like a 5-month news cycle. We're trapped in it, and there is no stopping it. In other words, it's the election, and we have a debate coming up. Allegedly, we're going to have a debate somewhere around this time next. No, it's actually further out. It's about 40 days out. Mr. Biden has basically thrown up the white flag. He's surrendered and said, "Yeah, I'll do a debate." It's a strange debate, but he's going to do one. I don't know. There are so many mixed messages. It's nice to follow technical analysis where it has a clear signal. It says, okay, this is what's going on. We could be in a weekly buy and a daily buy, and we know we want to be long. Or we can be in a weekly sell and a daily sell, and we know we want to be short. Or we're in a daily buy but a weekly sell, and we know we want to be neutral. It's pretty easy like that, But with this political stuff, they are just swinging in many directions, not making much sense whatsoever. Huh. All right. Now, let's go over and look at the big inflation fighter, the Swiss franc, right there. They've started buying it, selling the Swiss and buying the dollars again. You can see 3 days in a buy now, and we are perking our head this morning. The weekly buy number is being, introduced again. It's starting to play with that. Let's put a little box around it. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. So we have a little strength kicking into the weekly. We have a strength kicking into the daily. Not looking for any real damage per se. I think that as long as this product stays in the low 90s, the high 80s, that's a good thing as far as I can tell. Let's see. They say that the U.S. debt held by China is down to $767 billion now. They are really pulling money out of here to perk up their economy. Their economy is really trapped. All right. Let's take a look at the yen. Firm. It's firm. A couple days in a buy now. It's the second day. And the slow never went into the sell on the weekly. The fast did. It broke down last week and jumped right back up. Look at it, it's busting through the manifold and saying, not interested in going down. That is a kind of an eye-opener in its own right. The yen has been a real confusion to me. They're trying to, excuse me, I got a little hay fever going on. They're trying to hold the yen down, and in this case, when it's going up, it's losing against the dollar. And we're at 40-year highs and 45-year highs, and inflation is boiling away in Japan. And so, you can see you can see how calm, like back in here, you can see all the calmness, orderly selling and orderly buying. And now it's gotten a little excited there and swinging a little bit harder. And, they say that they want to support the 155 area. But it seems to be holding over the 155 area. Or was it the 150? I think it was 152. It was the 152 area that they were hoping to hold. And it blew all the way up to 160. And now it's the 152 seems to be the support, not the resistance anymore. And that is the yen. Let's take a look at the Turkish lira. It's a great experiment. And sell for a second day. You can see it's in a buy going on the third week. Just pressing along. I guess I have a little sore throat. I'm trying to find something that'll calm my throat down as I talk. I just put gum in there. Here's a cough drop. Let me go with a cough drop. Maybe that'll help it. It's hay fever. With all the strange weather we've been having with those solar flares. Okay. Alright, we got a cough drop going now. See if that'll help out. That's about it when it comes to the Turkish lira. It's trapped inside this nice big box. We hope it stays there for a couple of years and doesn't go any higher than the 36 area. Let's see what else. That's it. No questions this morning. It's really quiet. Not even Robin. Robin didn't even say hi. And let's see. Let's move over to South African Rand. We'll just start looking at the metals. I think we labeled it yesterday as a spike top short-term sell or something like that. Let's see. There is the South African Rand, and it's pressing down, and when it goes down, usually metals, they find a way to go up. So let's take a look at gold. There's gold. You see they had that spike yesterday. They drove it down. At one point, it was down around 70. It was down here. And then they lifted it a little bit, and today they're doing the same thing again, driving it down. Still in a weekly buy right there, daily buy right there. So I heard a story this morning. They were saying, they were naming the banks that have, like the central banks, not local banks, but central banks that have bought, $1.5 billion here and $1.5 billion there of gold. The banks are trying to hold gold. They want to hold gold a lot more than they want to hold anything else at this point. All right. What do we have here? All right, from there we zip over to silver. Let's check out the silver. There's silver. Doing that same thing as gold. Doing like a little topping thing. That's the zero line. Let's see if we can move that zero line to right there. There we go. It's awful high up, that's for sure. Every time it gets that high up, we get a little topping and a little retracement. So it does have that little panic look to it. Metals do have that panic look to it. And watching the South African Rand, try to slowly press against the dollar and gain, says a lot. It does. But more than that is that we definitely have a a very, like, they want to own. Well, I guess, when you really look at the whole global system and you see how the United States is printing money at a ridiculous pace these last 3 years, since 21. They've been, since Biden got in, he's been printing money left and right. And the Federal Reserve, they've loosened it so that they can print. And they don't interject about the idea that maybe they should try a little less spending. Mr. Powell has no interest in suggesting that, which is odd because, Mr. Bernanke, a Fed chairman, and Mr. Greenspan, Fed chairman, and Mr. Volcker, they all said those things. They used to warn the Congress, you got to stop spending. You got to, try to balance your budget. But Mrs. Yellen and Mr. Powell don't seem to care. All right, and that's silver. I guess the real excitement here's copper, and they're still talking about the excitement of the move in copper. It's been a really good move. Oh, there's the daily buy there. Can you imagine that? There's only been, I guess it went into a sell once for like 3 days, and right there, and then went right back into the buy right there. And it was in the buy right here, all the way up to there. And you can see the short term and the long term, the fast and the slow, I guess you could call it, on the algorithm of the weekly, holding up very strong. And then over here, let's take a look at platinum. Platinum's a little surprising the way it's acting. They threw it into the sell yesterday. It's in there again today, and we're in the weekly buy. You see the fast algorithm piercing down, but both still in weekly buys. But that is one interesting move. It's over a $50 move. Gold did the same thing, got up to $12.54, and next thing you know, it was down to. Let's take a look at that. Now it's a day later. I saw it in the 17s. What was the low there? The low there was 11. So it fell $43. And platinum, it fell from $1,105 to $1,064 basically. So 36. That's not that bad, is it? Oh no, 56. Okay, so that's 44.51. Excuse me. So it was $51 in the platinum yesterday. We'll see if the weekly turns, but right now it doesn't look like anything too bad. But that's at least the short is now up in the double digits. I always consider this the most dangerous short of them all, because we just, the platinum trading over 50% under gold. An incredible situation. Why? Because people, when you go to buy platinum compared to gold at the out on the for the physical, it's way away from the exchange price. It's more around the gold price, if not higher. All right, and that does the metals. If anybody has a question, just fire away, or product. And then, let me think. From there, we go over to the energies. Let's see what the energies are up to. Saw crude oil. Right there. There's crude oil. and it's been in that weekly sell. They're trying to flirt with the weekly buy. Let's put it up over here. There it is. It's flirting through the sell on the daily. The weekly is only 3 cents above the weekly buy. It's extremely soft. You know, there's a big question mark. Are we going to see, $100 oil? But it seems like it's cooled off. It really has. It's we're not seeing the panicky moves in the oil industry. And at the same time, we've seen natural gas itself really start to just roar. Let's take a look at, there's crude. Let's go to Brent. There's Brent. You see it's actually breaking down even harder than West Texas Intermediate. You see it's trying to get into the sell. It's in the weekly sell. There's pressure on it. So we're not really, at this point, we're not really sure if we're going to see the bigger numbers in oil unless there's some type of catastrophe in the industry itself, physical delivery. And let's see, what else is there? From there, I would say we go over to natural gas. That's the one we talked about, where it's really ripping. Right there. You see the weekly ripping, the daily buy from way back in here, and you can see it's just been climbing and climbing. A little weakness this morning, but nothing major. Look at the height of the histogram. I mean, it's just been a very powerful move. Same thing with the green line way up there. Let's see what it looks like over here. There we are. And there it is there. You can see it's backing off a little bit today after making another high up around 270. And I think that's 270. Let's see. Yeah, 279.8, almost 280. So it sold off a little bit, or it's sold off well actually. But none of the work is really turning. You can see the green line's going sideways. Let's see what else is there. That's the buy, so you can move that up like that. There we are. And then from there we go over to the energy company in Spain. Take a look at that. And that'll be pretty much what we look at when it comes to the energy sector itself. There it is. Yeah. There we go. So you can see it's kind of parked itself. The 25 is the resistance area. Now this product traded as high as 31, and we've seen it get trapped in the 28 area. We've seen it trade down below 20, and now we're at 25. And I imagine that's what it's telling us is that they're buying, just like here in the States, they're buying the natural gas. Natural gas is being bought. And it's not looking back, that's for sure. All right, from there, we slide over to, let's see. Go take a look at the world indices. unless someone wants to see something. We'll go through the world indices and take a peek at them. Let's see. Where is Nikkei? We always start off with Japan and the Nikkei. And there it is right there. They sold it down today. You see that right there. And but it hasn't gotten into the sell yet. And you can see they've jumped into the weekly buy last week. So it's the first week in a buy, starting the second week now. And tomorrow it'll show it, in the plus area. On the second, it'll be 21. And then from there, we go over to South Korea, their neighbor. Same situation, into the buy. But the daily has been really pressured. It's gone sideways. It went up. It's gone down, but it's trapped. It's almost like a reverse head and shoulders going on in here. And from there, we'll go over to Taipei. Heard an interesting, very interesting story this morning. That the most sophisticated chip manufacturing, they can remotely turn it off. So in other words, if they got invaded, they could shut the machines, and they would not relinquish any secrets, how they're built, how they made, so forth. Thought that was interesting. They have a dead man switch, I guess you'd call it. So there you have it right there, Taipei. You see it's a little weak the last couple of days, but nothing major from this nice move from these lows back in early April. And you can see here, 5 weeks in a buy, holding on a lot of strength here. From there, we drift over to, let's go right over to Shanghai. There it is right there, Shanghai. Holding on, daily buys, couple days, weekly buy, 6 weeks, going on 7 weeks now. And it'll be 21. It'll show the weekly buy for tomorrow. Going in there. Let's see. And then from there, we'll go to Hong Kong. Here's the Hang Seng. Also 5 weeks in a buy, going on a 6 week. It's trying to get back into the sell. You can see that pressure on it today. They took it down a little bit. It's been a nice move from the 16,000 to go up to the almost to the 20,000 area. It was a big move. So let's see what the Singapore Straits Times is doing. Now that Hong Kong is basically a part of China, it makes Singapore even more important when it comes to international finance. STI, where are you? There you are. And it's holding up very well from that low. Pushed itself back into a buy yesterday. We'll see if they give us the sell today. You can see it's a red dot. So it's starting to break down. And then you can see also at the same time, we're going on a 6th week in a weekly buy. Go down to Australia. There's the All Ordinaries. You see in a buy for like 3 days. This is starting the 3rd week in a buy on the weekly. And it's hanging out up at the all-time highs here. And then we can zip over it. I saw the Nifty 50 was up. Yep, there it is. I saw that early this morning. You're looking at 6 days in a buy. You see it's trying to climb into the weekly buy as we... no, I'm sorry. That's last week. It closed in a weekly buy last week. And I'm sure that this week, with the way that strength is, it's probably, up to maybe that height even. Might be up in that area. It should be turning up. Nevada reports after the bell tomorrow. So we got all day today and all day tomorrow. And the options are predicting a $80 move, which is like a 9% move, I guess you could say, about that. Up or down, we're not sure. Maybe we'll take a look at the Nevada after all these, just to see what we used to have it in here, I think, at one point. Do we have it in here still? Nevada NVDA. NVDA. No, we'll have to put it in. I say we pull Netflix and reverse it out. That's what we'll do. All right, from there we go over to the continent. Let's go to Europe and see what's going on there this morning. See what the DAX is doing. There's the DAX. Sideways down. It's in a sell for a day, 2 days now. Going two full days in a sell, going for a third day now. 3 weeks in a buy, starting a fourth week. We'll see what tomorrow brings us with that number. And then let's take a look at France. You see that 4 days in a sell, same thing, pressuring down, and 3 weeks in a buy, going on a fourth week. We'll see how well that holds up by the end of the week. That could be very interesting. And then we go and we look at the FTSE. Perpetually strong, but the last 2 days, actually now it's the last 3 days, it's been in a sell. And that's in but the weekly is so strong, it doesn't want to seem to give up. We'll go over to the S&P 500 right there in the States. See all those buys, and it's starting a third week in a buy. It's been, riding the pony, I guess you could say, up and away. NASDAQ, same situation, weeks upon weeks in daily buys, and we're going on a third week in a weekly buy. Lots of buying there. Then we go over to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And we've got 4 weeks in a buy there, and they pushed it into the daily sell yesterday. I'm flirting with it again today. All right, let's see what the Russell 2000 looks like. RTY. Right there. And as you can see there, pressing down, and you can see the weekly sell. Weekly buy. It's going on a third week in a weekly buy, and just yesterday they've started to push into the sell on the daily. But it's still relatively high. It's up over 2,100. Money tries to go into this particular index when they think that a major bottom has been set in the market. And then there's Bitcoin. Bitcoin looking very firm. And we are going into a third week in a buy. And we've been in daily buy for 9 days now. You see all those dots. Ding, da ding, da ding. That's number 9. And let's put in, see, do we have Nevada? Let's put that in there and see what it looks like. Nevada. I think we'll replace Netflix. Get rid of the Netflix. Let's see. Netflix. There, Meta. Netflix. Let's do that. Let's get rid of that. Go. There we are. Let's make sure we have it I think I accidentally knocked it out. Let's try it again. Netflix. All right, now let's add NVDA. And give it a refresh. We'll see it come up on the beta, and then we'll go take a look at it at the same time down on the other platform too. There we go, Navarra. You see it's been in a weekly buy for 3 weeks, right there. Pushed itself in a daily sell for a couple days now, right there, and yesterday it's trapped in the green and the red at the moment, and you can see it's trying to get up through the zero line. So they're reaching around for it, but it's in a weekly buy, and let's see what the other platform shows. NVDA. File open. Where is it at? Right there, NVDA. There we are. Yeah. Same weekly. You see the daily is trying to battle its way in there today. I think that's it right there. Yep, that's today's trading. So it's trying to climb in there at the moment as we speak. I don't know. Well, we're in a weekly buy and a daily buy. Maybe the news will be plus. You know, I mean, at this point, any good news on this stock, they're going to be reaching for it. They're going to want to buy it because, you know, it's a momentum play more than anything else. You know, there's a lot of momentum traders. So the momentum trade, they're always hunting for a momentum trade. There we are. I went to open up the door to let some air in here. All right, now from there, let's see what we do. Let's go over to, let's see. So we've done, I guess we've done all of it now. We got about 10 more minutes. So I guess we should, one thing's for sure, we're going to go and look at some other stuff. I know yesterday we went in and we looked at the grains. I thought was very interesting because, you know, we rarely do that here, and I'm really glad we did. But I guess we could work on a title today too. What should the title be? What should the title be? I mean, I guess it's like, I want to look at yesterday's. Yesterday's, you know, was talking about gold, and it was a spike top and, you know, small top or something like that. I think I've phrased it. Let me just take a look at yesterday's title. And I think that was a very clear, you know, it was very easy to spot. Let's see. There we are. Let's see what we can call today's title. I always like to try to have these things figured out before the end. Sometimes I get trapped into markets open. Yeah, gold spike short-term top. Now, there's plenty of buying going on in the metals industry. You know, I mean, the metals itself. And by the central banks. And you can see in the stock indices, they're all kind of like mixed at this point. You know, they're firm. They're in weekly buys for a couple of weeks. They're trying to show life. They're following the polls, and thinking that things are going to be better economically, and inflation will become under control. They're thinking all these. They're really referring to this 4-year administration as very conflicting. One moment it says one thing, then it says another thing. Then it goes back and says another thing, and then it goes back and says another thing. It keeps on saying the opposites. It keeps on saying yes, then no, then yes, then yes, then no, then no, then yes. So, you would expect to see a nervous market, but the markets know that with a Trump presidency again, it'll be a good economy, and there'll be very solid economic policy and lower regulation. So they are not afraid to be long. The thing is that a lot of funds have been underinvested because they've been speculating that Mr. Biden was going to screw things up, and pretty much they're saying that the gains since Mr. Biden got in office from the 30 some odd thousand area are basically inflation. I mean, that's pretty much what the inflation rate was. So in other words, when you take out inflation, if you knock the inflation rate down, or subtract it out, it shows that it's a very poor gain. It's not a very good gain. So, all right. What else can we say about that? Nothing particular. And I do want to put a title in there. If anybody has an opinion on what the title should be, just throw something up on the chat line, like, just even if it's just a subject. Just the subject itself would be cool. All right. Let's check the chat line again to see if anything's there. There's Robin just throwing a hi up there. Good. Let's take a look at the grains. See how they're looking this morning. We'll go to Swiss franc. Swiss franc. The soybean. This is the July soybean contract. You can see that off a little bit today. Right there. That's the 21st. Down a little bit. You can see it's still in the daily and weekly buys. Let's take a look at the wheat. There's wheat. July wheat. It's a little bit firmer than the beans. You can see it closed in daily buy yesterday. It's probably going to be in a buy today. And you can see, it's going on. It'll be going on a 6th week in a weekly buy this week. And then there's our corn. Corn's the same way. Going on a 6th week in a weekly buy. And a daily buy from yesterday. Oh, no, it hasn't made it there yet because it had a red and a green. But today they're trying to lift it, but it is lower than where it settled last night. Let's see. So, still thinking about the title here. And I think I have one in my head. Markets. Let's fix that. Markets. Direction. Direction. Markets direction. I'll have to think about that a little bit more. See if we can come up with a good one about markets. All right. Let's jump over to some of the stocks. See what some of the stocks are up to. As we saw with Nevada, right there. Let's see. Let's see what the AMD is doing. I saw some of those chip stocks looking pretty strong. That's interesting. Went into the sell there yesterday. And it's trying to climb into the buy. Nice conflicting situation there. Let's see. Let's do this too. Let's put the Apple up there and see what Apple's doing. Apple's been inching its way up. I know that they're cutting prices in China and so forth, and they're trying to get sales up, get things moving along, because it's been a really tough market. But so far, not too good. But it's got a lot of cash. They have a lot of money. They do have solid sales overall. You can see that there. We're up in the 180s. No, 191. We're really heading towards the all-time highs again, slow and steadily. I guess you can see it's been in that weekly buy since back here in the 170s, and now we're in the 190s. So on the daily, it was very tough. This was all that earnings thing, and we couldn't take the short, and you couldn't be long until just recently in the last 7 days, where you could be long off of that one right there. Let's grab that. And that was the buy right there at the 185 area, and now we're in the 191 area. I had to wait it out, pretty much. I know we've been following the Amazon. Amazon is now flirting with the weekly buy. See it right there? They're flirting with the weekly buy, but they're in a daily sell. I keep on thinking it'll come back down into this area here where we averaged into the puts from basically from here up. So it's winning at the moment. I think Giannis said something about them being done the trade, but it was a brutal trade. Fought it all the way, and it just has that look to it, like it wants to come down here into the 176 area, 175, 177 area when it comes to the Amazon. And let's see, what other good ones can we look at? Let's take a look at Meta. Meta has been a very fascinating and very strong stock. Facebook, Meta, right there. Now, it went into the weekly sell up in the $500 area and found a way to fall down into the 420 area. And we've been in that daily buy there. Went into a sell there, and it went back into the daily buy there. Let's put a sell in there. Right there. And then, let's go put the buy back in there. Right there. Just one day later. And then yesterday it went into the sell again. And it's in a weekly sell. So, it's definitely lower today than yesterday. So it's definitely, joining in again. This was a loser. And this is going to may make the nice win out of it. But it's been interesting. It's had three good trades since it went into the weekly sell, and two of them have been winners. So I went into the sell here, and this week here, and it fell from the 500 down to the 420. That was the best of them all, of course. And that is pretty much the action of it all. I guess we're going to get out of here. No one seems to have anything to say or ask, and I'm at the end of looking at everything. What else can I look at? Oh, let's take a look at the bond market. Let's take a quick look at the bond market. Right there. Interest rates have been rising, excuse me, softly, but not explosively. See, daily sell for 3 days here now, when we're in weekly buy. So it's really a neutral situation. It's come up and hit the top end of the range. That's the 30-year Treasury bond. So, let's see. Let's go back to titles. We'll put the title in there. So title today will be Market Direction. Wide range. Wide sideways. That's pretty much. It really is an envelope at this point. They know they don't want to sell. They know they need to take profits. At the same time, they're not sure if, I've heard money managers now say, well, it's only 5 months away. What's the difference at this point? We might as well just hold on. And that's the attitude they're all taking. So, All right, traders, we'll catch you all tomorrow on Wednesday. Happy to Hump Day. So this is Doc from North America saying happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, later, traders.